Hello everybody, hello dear friends and astrology lovers and dear followers. Yes, it's Olga. I hope that you recognize me. Yes, a little bit of change was needed in my let's say everyday life, in my appearance. So yeah, this was the impact of the full moon, I think. So yeah, I feel lighter and fresher, but we will not laugh. We will not talk about my hair today. We will talk about the transits, planetary transits of the week, of the upcoming week, from Monday, June 12th until Sunday, June 18th. There are a couple of difficult aspects, a couple of soft, harmonious aspects that balance, the general picture. There is nothing tragic, nothing dramatic, but well, the situation is never perfect. The good news is that the full moon is behind this crazy tension in the air that, when you feel that at least my head is going to explode, extremely difficult emotional states. And yeah, maybe that's why it pushed me, the full moon pushed me to go to a hairdresser, because I needed to do something creative and, remarkable to bring some change. Okay. Yes, the full moon is behind, and the upcoming week will correspond to the third quarter of the lunar months. Okay, and yeah, I personally also like this phase of the lunar months. But I like less the days that when we get closer to the new moon. Let's start from the beginning. So what about the real aspects of the week? This week Mercury forms two major aspects on Tuesday and Wednesday. But before to talk about the aspects of Mercury, I will just mention the aspect of the last week that was accurate, exact on Friday, June 9th, on the day of the full moon. You remember this sextile Venus-Mars? Venus and Taurus in sextile 60 degrees with Mars in Cancer. It was exact on June 9th, but the time of its action is from June 1st until 25th. That's why I mention it, because it's like the exact aspect is not far, That's why we will still feel its impact during the upcoming week. You remember that this aspect, sextile Venus-Mars, is an aspect of romantic dating, at the beginning of love story and different romances. It's a good period for romantic and sexual relationship. The aspect enchases the sensuality and desire to possess, awakes the desire, sexual desire, and the desire to transform the relationship from the initial, introductive, if you can say, we can say so, period. When we offer gifts and we invite the person to the cinema or for a walk, into a closer phase, an intimate phase. This is excellent period to start something new with the person who we like, but at the same time, if we talk about the existing relationship, and where the couple experiences some misunderstandings and troubles and problems, it's a great opportunity to rearrange, stuff, to find the common language, to compromise, and to repair what is not working properly. Yeah, sextile Venus-Mars. Once again, those who have this aspect in their chart, they will be more sensitive to this transit. You can have this aspect not obligatory in the same signs as the transit, Venus in Taurus, Mars in Cancer. It can be, the planets can be in other signs. Of course, if you have in the same, it can happen already. Also, it can also happen that you have the same sextile in the same degrees of the same signs as the transit aspect. In any case, always go check your birth chart and the position of planets in there. Monday, June 12th, the moon is waning, of course. As we said, the full moon is behind. The waning moon will be in Capricorn, in the Earth sign, in square to Uranus. In areas, squares and oppositions of the moon is always extremely disturbing for our emotional state. So in this case, square to Uranus will give us emotional imbalance, difficulties in relationships, in exchanges, especially with women, quarrels and disagreements. Fortunately, it passes quickly, 2-3 hours, and it's over. So what about our major aspects of Mercury? Mercury is in Gemini. Remember, it entered Gemini the last week. It will be in trine with Jupiter and Libra on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, Mercury forms square with Neptune and Pisces. And it will happen just before the beginning of the retrograde phase of Neptune. Once again, the 2 following days, one after another, one day after another, we will live 2 contradictory aspects of the same planet. Yes, it will be manifested. Of course, one aspect does not cancel the other. It's like it's like to eat sweet and salty. What does the trine do? The trine Mercury Jupiter expands or widens, right? Our perception, the capacity of understanding of perception, intellectual perception, allowing us to have a good overview of the situation, and helps to see the perspectives of a specific situation, as well as its problematic sides. It's like we start having a philosophical mind, that has no limits. Yeah, very large, wide vision. That's why it's logical that this period, the accurate aspect ±4 days, is favorable for communication, discussions, for signing important agreements, for creating new contacts, for any intellectual work, literary activity, for working with documents, for solving legal issues, and for public relations. Perfect, just amazing, gorgeous. Now, square Mercury, Neptune. Dreaminess, right? Dreaminess, uncertainty, when everything seems foggy, uncertain to us. Our vision of reality will be illusions and even deception. Yeah. The day after the trine Mercury-Jupiter. That's why on June 13th, 14th, it's extremely important to be attentive to any new incoming information, because this information risks to be contradictory or unreliable. That's why all the facts that we hear, that we received, all the facts need to be rechecked, verified, or re-verified, confirmed more than one time. Because what happens on the square with Neptune is that a free or involuntary, or voluntary deception is possible. When people lie to us without, and they don't even want to do it, it's not intentional or not intentional deception from people, coming from people that bring to us new information. That's why a caution is needed when we deal with the new people, because we cannot trust blindly people that we don't know. And all these, promising proposals that make us dream. We should not believe anything what we hear these days. So just to check many, many times before to give the final response. So now, if you combine the symbolism, the meaning of the interpretation of these two aspects during 2 days, one after another, what we will get in the end? Of course, one aspect doesn't cancel the other, as I said before. So on one hand, this trine, Mercury-Jupiter, defines a good period for productive interaction with others, other people and for teamwork. We said before that Mercury in square with Neptune gives illusions, deception. So thanks to the trine with Jupiter, some illusions can be dispelled, although there will be no absolute clarity of the situation. So it softens, right, the trine with the Mercury, with the Jupiter, without cancelling totally entirely the square with Neptune. And there's also another thing is that the day of the exact aspect, Neptune square, Mercury square, Neptune, it's will give us a good chance to correctly interpret and use hints that will come from the subconsciousness, from signs from outside, or even from our own dreams, because this is the function of Neptune, right? Subconsciousness and imagination, creative imagination. Yes, so yeah. If we had only one aspect, square Mercury and Neptune, it will be worse, of course. But the trine with the Jupiter helps us not to, make major mistakes. What will also help to overcome the negative impact of square Mercury Neptune is the actual aspect of the moon, the trine moon sun on Wednesday, June 14th. The waning moon, it will be in Aquarius, forming trine to the sun in Gemini, promising us a stable and harmonious psychological state, emotional state. The situation will be in relationship with family members, with people who surround us, will be normalized. There will be is the contrary of conflictual environment. That's why the day is favorable for family gatherings, for meetings with old friends, and for romantic dates on Wednesday. In spite of, we can go to the date. We can meet with the family member, but we have to filter what we hear because of the square Mercury Neptune. Well, the most difficult aspect of the week is, of course, opposition Sun Saturn. Remember that a week before we had the position Mars-Saturn. Now we are getting to, because Mars passed already, to Cancer, right? The Sun is still in Gemini. Now the turn of the Sun to form a position to Saturn. Sun in Gemini in opposition to Saturn in Sagittarius. The impact will last from June 9th to 18th. Let's recall the symbolism of the planets. The Sun symbolizes the deep consciousness, the ego, the potential, the creative potential, the will, so me, what I really want. Saturn symbolizes obstacles, delays, time, authorities, high authorities, older people. So imagine these two concepts are in confrontation. So the opposition Sun-Saturn will wake up the conflict between personal and social. The inability to express ourselves, to defend our personal interests because of external constraints. Someone who by age or position, status, has the right to tell us, you must do this or that, or it is forbidden to do this or do that, can, unfortunately, impede the realization of our plans. We have to wait this aspect to pass. We cannot oppose ourselves to this opposition. It serves for nothing. We should not enter into conflicts with the representatives of the authorities. And it serves for nothing to try to be noticed by the managers or bosses, supervisors, superiors, because instead of receiving an encouraging bonus, we risk to be charged with an additional load of tasks and responsibilities. It's not the time to look for the, encouragement and promotion, especially not a promotion. Also, this aspect can give, of course, this cooling down in any relationship, professional or business or romantic. And what is the right strategy of behavior here? The rightest. If you start a confrontation now, if you feel the wall, if you feel that everything is once again like with the same, like with Mars the past week. If you see that we cannot realize our own personal, individual plans and dreams, and maybe even they, if they, incredibly good and we believe in them, yeah, it will be easier and more efficient to work on them after this aspect. So if we start a confrontation now, confrontation with obstacles, this fight with obstacles, we will not achieve anything. It's better to show flexibility and to follow the, to follow the flow in order to get out of this period with the minimal losses. Also, this aspect gives a lot of, the energy, the vitality, the general vitality and the energy of the organism, of the body, strength, it's low and weak. So it's important not to work too much, not to overwork ourselves. Not have to. If you feel tired, we have to take some rest. We should not force ourselves to work more than we can, because it will be difficult to recover. Because the forces are very weak. The strength, the vitality, the energy. But still, the day of the aspect Sun-Saturn, opposition Sun-Saturn, we have this softening aspect, that helps, however. A waning moon in Pisces and trine to Mars in Cancer, a water trine on Thursday. Normally, trine Mars moon increases energy and constructivism. We feel more energetic. But, normally we would get pleasure from intense physical exercises, physical activity, like dance or whatever, physical. It will be a good occasion to get rid of the accumulated tension. But don't forget that the background aspect of additional Sun-Saturn is more powerful, because this aspect involves slower planets. It takes time to be formed. It takes time to get unformed. That's why its orb is always larger than the orb of the transit of the moon, for example, or even of Mercury. That's why even if you have a very harmonious moon aspect, we have to see what is behind. If the background aspect is negative and it involves slower planets. So, of course, opposition Sun-Saturn will dominate, will give the rhythm, will define the energy, the general energy of these days, plus minus 3 days, before and after the exact aspect. All right, now Friday, June 16th, Neptune begins its retrograde phase in 14.15 degree of Pisces. It will retrograde until November 22nd of this year. Of course, the planet is slow planet. Of course, influences first of all some general processes on a larger scale, like of a society or groups, society, country, or even of course the entire world. That's why the retrograde phase of Neptune brings to the fore the issues of spiritual development, of liberation from illusions in partnership relationships, both personal and business relationship. This may be the period of uncertainty, of doubts, of complex psychological states. Once again, here we have to check what does Neptune in our personal chart. Let's say it's the ruler of the ascendant. If your rising sign is Pisces, where it is. Where is Neptune? In which house? In which sign? What planet it forms? what aspect it forms with other planets. So we have to look for Neptune in our chart. What is its position? On a more global scale, you know, in the entire world, on the global scale, the question of ideological religious doctrine will be activated, which is extremely important, because any society without an ideological basis has no goal, so it moves to nowhere. What else? Yeah, we could hear about some, corruption scandals when in the countries where it exists. It exists everywhere, right? Corruption. Well, there are some countries that are more subject to this phenomenon. Friday, very interesting aspects on Friday. Friday, June 16th. You imagine the waning moon will be in Pisces and in conjunction with Neptune. Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces. So the theme of Pisces is underlined. Late in the evening, the moon will be in square with Mercury in Gemini. So the conjunction moon-Neptune in Pisces awakes increased sensitivity, instant reaction to any influence, impact from outside. When we feel the vibrations of other people, and even we think that, we feel the vibration of objects. Prophetic dreams, states of trance, we can easily enter these states, trance states. Meditative states, yes. It will be easy to meditate, in one word. Also, if somebody practices psychic readings, any esoteric science, especially psychic reading, when we need to use our intuition, our visions will extremely clear and impressive. We will feel the presence of other people who are not here, who are very far, but we will have this feeling that they're here with us. And then, for example, we discover later that this person was thinking of us at this moment. So extremely, oh my God, thunderstorm, tropical at this time, at 7 p.m. So extremely vulnerable emotional state. At the same time, despite the desire for higher harmony, there may be a tendency, especially if you talk about extremely sensitive people, those who have in their chart, for example, the moon in Pisces, or in another water sign like Scorpio or Cancer, there will be a tendency to, solitude and isolation. Fears and phobias can also wake up. These people can show distant, disconnection, distance, which could look rather weird or strange. Also, craving for alcohol. So, any sensitive person this day on Friday may become tearful, sentimental, not focused enough, especially if in your region, for example, the weather is bad, so it will not help. That's why we have to control our emotional state on Friday, and to, of course, first of all, to avoid alcohol, and maybe if we are alone, not to stay alone, and to find somebody to go out with, because nobody needs to enter into depression, right? On the square with the Mercury later in the evening, emotional instability, fixation on little things, that are not worth our attention. Superficial chatting can hinder concentration and can be an obstacle to a productive work. Once again, women and their problems can get on our nerves. Why women? Because we talk about the moon, problems with women, between women and between men and women. Okay, and the last thing, like the end of the week, the weekend. We just mentioned the position Sun-Saturn, right? Mercury is also in Gemini. It's getting closer to the Sun. It also forms a position on its turn, a position with the Saturn. So Mercury in opposition to Saturn, this aspect will be accurate just in a very specific negative context. Listen to me. One day before this aspect, on Saturday, June 17th, there will be a T-square in the sky. You imagine opposition Sun-Saturn, and Mercury is also here. And the moon is in Pisces, forming a square to Saturn and a square to the Sun and to Mercury. It's extremely powerful, and one opposition to two squares. A T-square, we know this configuration, right? So it prepares in a negative way this background for the opposition Mercury-Saturn. So these 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, so the end of the week, will be extremely difficult for contacts, for trips and communication of all kinds. We will not be able to get easy, free communication because we will feel mental blockage. I mean, us and other people also. We may see delays of business meetings, delays and maybe, things can maybe even cancel, but it's rather delays. Cancellation is Uranus. Obstacle. Saturn, it's delay when it arrives later. Delays in the reception of emails, of goods, of necessary information. That's why, of course, if you want a productive results, it's not a suitable moment to present a new idea, to sign a contract, to set important negotiations. Disagreements over trifles can grow into a serious problem in dealing with business partners, superiors, or family members. Also, it's not advised to go on a trip the next end of the week because, during the T-square involving Mercury and on this such a negative aspect of Mercury, opposition to Saturn, these are the days of increased accidents, injuries, and there is a high probability of terrorist attacks in the places, regions when there is a risk of these attacks. So it's better not to go on a trip the next weekend, or at least to do something very local, not to go too far, being sure about the state of your transport that you will use to go on this trip. And the last thing, so on Sunday, June 18th, this will be the beginning. We end on Sunday. We end the third quarter of the lunar month. So we go for the last quarter of the lunar month, and in the end of which we will meet the new moon. So the moon will be on Sunday, June 18th, in Aries, in square to Pluto. Once again, a tense aspect. We will live definitely deep emotional experiences. When women will want to dominate us, to show their excellence, and of course we would like to respond in the same way, whether it doesn't matter if you are women or men, which will provoke a conflict, of course. So it's better to avoid, intense exchanges, unless we don't care about the result. And also, we have to be careful with the quality of food, because on the square moon, Pluto, there's a risk of poisoning with the food which is not fresh. This is it for today. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for following me, and have a nice week. Stay wise, and talk to you the next week. Goodbye.